Well, if you have a child between the ages of 2 and 5, there is a fun story time and art-making event for families called Art Sprouts.
Olivia Miller and Gina Campitello Moore are with the University of Arizona Museum of Art, and they're here to tell us more. And I see that we're actually going to be doing a little bit of art here as well. Yeah. I'm sure the kids 2 and 5 would do better than I can do, but tell me about Art Sprouts and what it's really about.
So Art Sprouts is a really fun early childhood art education and literacy program. So kids aged 2 to 5 and their families come to the museum and they have a really fun hour-long experience. They go through the museum and look for things in the collection. They move their bodies around. They read a story that is connected to the theme or the project. And then they do a really great hands-on art project, sometimes related to a theme. So they've built animals and animal houses. They've done things with plants. And it's a really great way to get families and their kids together to the museum, because not only are they doing these activities, but they're doing them together. So it's a really great bonding experience and art experience.
And you know, summer is always the hardest time to find these great family things to do together. And I think this is absolutely perfect. And as I was walking up on commercial break, I was looking at the art that you have here and I said, wow, that's beautiful. And she answered with, oh yeah, those were done by preschoolers. So show us what we're going to be doing today.
Okay, so these are projects. This is a typical project that we would do during Art Sprouts. Okay. These particular works that we're going to make today, they're based on 2 paintings in our collection. So one painting is by the very famous Jackson Pollock. The other one is by Morris Louis. And both of these artists were working not together, but in the mid-20th century. And so they were really experimenting with how to make art without paintbrushes. So what we're going to do is we have these droppers here. We have liquid watercolors that we have further diluted, and then we have paper. So you can see they're very simple materials. And all you do is take a dropper, put it into the paint, squeeze the paint up, and then drop it. Okay. So for us, when you're doing this, you know, for an adult, for most of us, it might be pretty easy, and it seems like a very simple activity. But what we have to keep in mind is that for ages 2 to 5, they're really developing their fine motor skills. And so the act of pinching a dropper, the act of putting it inside of the hole, taking it back out, all of that is fine motor skill development. It's hand-eye coordination. And when you drop it, you're also making conscious choices about where to put the paint. So you're also seeing a cause and effect relationship. So what happens when you hold your dropper way up high? What does the paint do? What happens when you let it drop on another drop of paint? So all of these are choices that the children get to make. It gives them a lot of independence in making their art. And at the same time, it helps us to understand what these abstract artists were doing. A lot of people think that it takes very little effort to throw paint on a canvas, but really, Jackson Pollock and Morris Louis were making very conscious decisions about where the paint was going on the canvas.
So is this why you decided to do something like this, is especially with that age group, is that they have that kind of, like you said, building and creativity and motor skills that they're building at that age?
Yes, exactly. The other big part of that is language development. So ages 2 to 5 is a time where they're learning how to speak, but there's not necessarily a word that they can pull from their brain to express what they want to say. They're so creative, they're so imaginative, and if they can't find the language, it can be very frustrating. So making art is a great way for them to express their ideas.
I think that is so cool, and I already am in love with my piece of
Yours is very swirly. Mine's very dotted. I was trying to make green with my blue and yellow.
Oh, yeah. See, you're clever. I'm just like, what cool shapes can I make?
Yeah.
Now, this is just one event going on at the museum, so tell us what else you have coming up.
Absolutely. So we have 2 Art Sprouts dates during the summer, June 24th and July 15th. In September, we have a really great event called Family Day, which is a chance for families to come to the museum and do all kinds of activities, explore the museum, kind of like a really big day-long Art Sprouts. And we have tons of other activities and classes and exhibitions and programming coming up, including an exhibition of work from Art Sprouts called Selections from Art Sprouts that'll open September 19th.
That's so much going on.
So much. Okay, well, how do our pieces of art here hold
we
up?
Can't really hold them up. Let's hope the camera.
I'm going to make mine into, what do you think, ladies?
I think it's amazing, and you can see what happens, that the paint drips and moves on its own.
Yeah, I love that. I do just think this is really, really clever, and especially great for families who are looking to do something together. And of course, it's always a good time to visit the museum. So ladies, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. And Art Sprouts will take place at the University of Arizona Museum of Art on June 24th and July 14th at both 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. To register, send an email to cjfarrar@email.arizona.edu. For more information, you can call 621-7567 or log on to artmuseum.arizona.edu.